Welcome to the Thunderdome. Should we start with some disclosure about what the crack is then?
Why? What do you mean?
Well, because...
Also, Starving Artist podcast, you already know what it is.
Welcome.
Carry on.
So I went to a wrestling show recently.
Yeah.
To try and get myself in there, working on some digital marketing stuff.
Yeah.
And oh my God, was it interesting. I can't give away too much, kayfabe and all that.
Yeah.
But
still nice to get a peek behind the curtain of the live events world, though.
Yeah, completely. Like, it all happens.
It's a different kind of art that we're not used to on this pod. You know?
Exactly. We don't really talk about it. It's one of my favourite kinds of art.
Yeah,
but there was 2 death matches, which were very extreme.
Right.
They were doing all sorts of stuff. There was one fella who was putting syringes in a woman's face, and then she did it back to... She won in the end.
How did they do that, though? Like...
Well, they take a syringe and they put it in each other's face,
like
innit?
legit?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That
like,
is crazy.
all the blood and stuff, it's all real. But then the kind of major not asked about it when they get back. They just sort of want to have a drink and like go out and stuff.
That is a bit mad.
Which I find really impressive. A lot of the stuff that I thought was real isn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? I thought I was quite switched on with it. It's not like I was out here thinking, oh yeah, it's all completely 100% real. But like, there was a lad who fell through the ropes and he sort of twanged his head on the rope and he started acting like he had like a serious real concussion. And I've seen videos like that before where it's like, where they have. And when he got backstage, I was like, is he all right? And they were like, yeah, he's fine. I was like, what do you mean? I just saw him get a concussion. And they were like, no, you didn't. I was like, what? And he was sat there having a fucking beer.
You were like, wait, but none of it is real?
None of it? But then, like, in one of the death matches, like, I was watching all this mad stuff happen. They were battering each other with monster cans in their hand and everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, one of them was up on the balcony watching the rest of the show with me afterwards, still covered in blood, being like, oh, yeah, shaking hands with the mates. And the other one had, like, a cut down a leg like that. I was like, oh, you seeing that? I was like, yous are rolling. Yous are so hard.
That is mad.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, hard fronts, man.
But I managed to get myself based up next to one of the most interesting people that I've ever met, which was Jim Smallman, from the former owner of Progress, who I'm going to be working with next month, and current WWE talent scout.
And you didn't know who he was?
I didn't know who he was. I had no idea. And I managed to just... I must have pissed him right off half because I wouldn't shut up.
I feel like it probably
questions.
worked in your favour, though, a little bit, that you didn't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Who he was, you know
because I did notice that people did speak to him differently.
Yeah, everyone was kissing up to him.
Yeah, and like not to be like, oh, everyone was trying to suck his ass, but like people were different to him than they were with other people.
Sorry, can I just say, we've just like incorrectly used 2 phrases there. Kissing up to him as opposed to sucking up to him. And sucking his ass. You filled in the one that I got wrong by also getting yours wrong. I feel like that's a great sign of like the chemistry of this relationship. It's that
we're both wrong.
But together we said the correct phrases. You just said one half and I said the other half.
That's belt.
Sorry, carry on. Just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, he got into it through doing comedy, and his comedy manager said like, what's that you're watching in a hotel room? He was like, oh, indie wrestling. He was like, we could do that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh yeah, we probably could. He was like, let's do one in London soon. He was like, oh no, everyone knows you can't do indie wrestling in London. He was like, fucking bollocks, of course we can.
Yeah, that is mad. Like, I feel like something that I'm learning is that people who work in the sort of entertainment world, there's a lot of cross-pollination between like art forms, you know what I mean? A lot of people who are into music will do film as well.
And do you know what? That brings me on to a big thought that I've been having about one of the major things that he said that I've taken with me is anything that you can do yourself, do yourself, because that means you don't have to pay anyone else to do it.
Right.
And you don't have to trust anyone else to handle your baby with the amount of care that you would.
Mate, that is so strange as coded. You know what I mean? Like, that's such our mentality.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And like, I was talking to him about like music and about having done like the business degree and stuff. And he was like, no, all of that will really help you, because like one issue we had was we didn't have the licensing to, like, we were using licensed music. So now we can't sell our back catalogue because it's got music on it that we don't own. I was like, well, it's fucking good that I'm a musician then, innit?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and we mainly just posted like, you know, posters on like the internet and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm a graphic designer, so that's sound.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, he helped like piece together a lot of the kind of the moving parts that do exist in like everything as well. And the main, so I was asking him about like, right, how do you pick your talent when you're scouting?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this applies to everything creative, because if you're creating something that someone else has created, you've not created anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a great saying.
Like, he was saying, WWE don't need another Jey Uso because Jey Uso's world champion at the moment. They've already got one of them. They've got a John Cena. They don't need another one.
Yeah.
They had a great Carly. They probably don't need another one of them for fucking 20 years now. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I think that applies to other art quite well, because it's like, if you're not doing anything that's different and unique and that you can understand what it is straight away, even as a one-night audience, then you're doing it wrong. Because I was saying to him, like, how did you build the relationship between the fans and the performers when you only had one show a month at your disposal? And he said, I didn't even really give them any time on the microphone or any time, like, to build the character. I picked people that it was so obvious what they are from the moment that they walk through the curtain that you don't even have to ask that question of yourself. Like, when he had Gunther is a big Austrian guy. Yeah. He's like fucking near 7 foot. He's probably, I don't know, 6 foot something. He's big. Mm-hmm. And he just smacks the fuck out of people. He just chops the chest dead hard, and he's dead stern, and he's a bit of a, you know, he's a bit 45 coded, you know. Right. And like, he was like, you don't have to put a mic in that guy's hand. Everyone knows straight away. You can look at him and go, he's probably from like Europe. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, that's really interesting. That is a dope way to think about it.
Yeah, it was such an eye-opening experience, all of it.
Yeah, because I think we've...
And also how doable everything is. I went in there thinking that this was going to be the craziest, most complicated setup in the world. And then all of a sudden I've got the commentator telling me that he's getting paid 50 quid for doing this show just because he loves doing it.
Yeah.
It's like...
Right, well, actually, I've got a point. Like, just one of the things I was going to talk about, we'll piggyback off that in a minute, but just to go back to, like, I think we realised pretty early on in this band of, like, oh, like, we're just doing Catfish and the Bottlemen. That already exists. And I think more than anything, we realised it by seeing that everyone in our scene was also doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, we're not different to anyone here now.
Yeah, and they're not different to the people that are being successful at the minute, you know what I mean? Because, like, Catfish were popping at the time. And since then, we have, like...
made a conscious effort.
To be a bit weird or whatever. But I've never thought about it in terms of, like, displaying that in a way that's so... obvious as to what it is, because I think our subversion of whatever's been going on in the scene has always been very sporadic. Like, we've always subverted the scene, but sometimes it's in this direction and sometimes it's in that direction.
We're very good at understanding all of the things that we're not.
Yes.
Whereas this was an eye-opener in that it's really important to make it so that other people can understand the things that you are as well. You know what I mean? That's where the real challenge comes in. And that's what a lot of artists probably don't really figure out. They you know what I mean? They start just ruling out things that they've done before, but then pick up a new thing that's been done by someone else. Yeah. And because to them it'll feel new. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we can turn around and be like, maybe we'll do a house song. And that's new to us. Yeah. But that's not new to music, because there's house music. You know what I mean? The same way that this company could turn around and be like, and now we've got The Undertaker 2. You know what I mean?
The Overtaker.
Yeah, the Overtaker. And a guy comes out dressed as like the Stig, but in all black. Well, to be fair, they did have something like that. Right. Do you know, as a non-wrestling fan, do you know who Kane is?
I know the name.
Right. He's a guy, he wore a red mask, a red and black mask, like from the 90s through to like... He's mayor of Knoxville now, so it's a whole different outfit that he wears. But he used to wear this red mask. He was the big red machine. No one knew his face for ages, all this stuff. And everyone used to want to see him in different colours.
Right.
Like, oh, we want Blue Kane and we want him to have, like, ice powers. Because he had fire powers.
Right, of course he did.
Because it's all bollocks.
Yeah.
But he we want Green Kane and for him to have, like, poison mist and stuff. Right. And the indie scene has really picked up that, like, trend and has started doing these. So, like, Blue Kane shows up sometimes and he has, like, a fucking, you know, the indoor snow machines.
Right.
Or, like, they'll do, like, you know, fucking green smoke for, like, Green Kane or whatever.
Yeah.
They've got a rainbow one called Gain, which I think is great.
Yeah, that is cool.
And while I was there, they announced the upcoming show. They're going to be featuring Cocaine, who is completely white.
That's class.
Yeah, which is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. But that's also what's difficult is that, like,
Kane is so identifiable that you can change the colour of him and it still is Kane. That's a really good point, though.
Right, that is a good point.
It's like, no, that's Blue Kane. You know what I mean?
I was going to say it's difficult, isn't it? Because even though they're all just different versions of the same thing, people still want it, right?
Yeah,
because it's based on this original thing, which I guess is sort of where,
that's
like,
the equivalent of, like, a covers band, in a way.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's definitely where, like, film is at a lot, you know what I mean? Like, everything's just...
Sequels,
like,
reboots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like, it's all, like, universes of, do you remember this film from fucking 11 years ago? Here's that guy from that film. And maybe people are getting sort of fatigued with that a little bit
I'm
now.
guilty of it, though, because last night when I was looking for something to watch and I found that there was a Continental TV show from the John Wick universe, I was like, maybe, you know what I mean? Watched it for about 10 minutes and then was like, fuck this, I'm playing Disney Speedstorm. The Disney Pixar version of
Stop leaning on that.
Mario Kart. Yeah. Which, by the way, is a fucking fire game.
Yeah, you were telling me about it last week.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
What was the thing that you said before that I was going to piggyback off? It's just like, it's a small thing. And
yeah.
So one of the points that I've got is something I've been thinking about recently, is that the process of making art is the same, right, fundamentally, whether you've got £10 or £10,000 at your disposal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
it's how you use what you've got. Innit?
Well, exactly,
you can fuck up £1 million show tremendously badly and make it boring.
Yeah.
Or you can smash it out the park for free if you do it right.
Yeah. And, like, maybe this is blatantly obvious, right? But I never thought about it so much when I was younger, and that leads me to think that maybe, like, younger artists that might see this also haven't really thought about it. It's like, when we were, let's say, like, 18, right? I thought, oh, if we get to a point of success, right, what we're doing will elevate, you know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, we'll be working with, like, people who know what they're doing, and, like, but then you realise, like, everyone's just doing the same thing. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. They're all just doing, like, if we got signed now, we'd just be doing, like, the way we make music now here, but maybe in a slightly nicer room. You know what I mean? Like,
they'd have someone funding us being able to do meta ads is all that would happen. I recently got a potential job offer that I'm not going to talk too much about what it is because it's no relation to any of this anyway. But, like, the main things that they were asking for, and they're a pretty big, like, brand, the main things that they were asking for was email marketing and Facebook and Instagram ads.
Mm-hmm.
And they've turned over millions of pounds off just doing that.
Yeah.
And just word of mouth marketing.
It is just, like, the money is the only difference. Like, I was looking at the way my week is laid out, right? So like, I had Ed was in here yesterday. We were working on some music. Now we're doing this.
Traitor.
Well,
I'm not asked.
It gets worse as well because now we're doing this, and then Jack's coming round later on. You're a fucking tornado.
Two in the same day.
Yeah, mate. Who am
Sickens
I?
me.
You a year and a half ago.
Longer than that.
Nobody will get that joke. Yeah, whenever it was, 2 years ago. So like, session with Ed, then like doing this with you this afternoon, and then we'll probably work on some music afterwards. Then I've got Jack coming in later on. I've got 2 gigs this weekend. Like, I'm living the lifestyle of like, doing studio sessions and creating music and doing gigs. And like, obviously the gigs pay, but like, I don't get paid for any of this. But that's the only difference. Like, if I would just be getting paid for doing the things that I'm already doing, and I would still be doing them pretty much in the same way that I am doing them now. It'd just be people in a small room or maybe a slightly bigger room making music. The process is exactly the same.
Yeah.
This is what I've realised since I started working as an extra. I've done two days on set, right? And even in just 2 days, it's very obvious to me, like, oh, this is just what we do, like when we're making music videos, but with more people, right? It's the same process. Like if you think about when we made like the Jaded video, right? There was us 3, Paul and his mate Sam, who were doing the videography, and then Kate did like the makeup and shit. That's a small team, right? But the process was still come up with an idea, scout the location. We did a little test footage, which would be like your storyboard or your animatic or whatever. And then we got the shots that we thought we needed were cool. And then we just edited it together, right? That's like 6 people working on something. When you're doing a TV show, it's literally the same thing, but just it takes a bit more time. There's a lot more people. The cameras are more expensive. You know what I mean? There's like a guy whose specific job is to like grab that light and put it over there when we change the shot. You know what I mean? Whereas like me and you were like carrying fucking lights around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but the process is literally the same. Like creatively.
You drive the stuff to the location, you set it up, you fill the thing, you pack it down, you fuck off. That's just the process of doing anything, isn't it?
And
do you know what? Fucking, this is what I've been like for the past like few days since this wrestling show at home. I've been going, oh my God. And do you know what else that Jim Smallman said to me? Like, I'm name dropping the guy like in my household.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you believe it?
Heather's like, yes, Sean, you told me, Sean.
and do you know what else he said? But I forgot what it was that I was going to even say now. What we were on about then.
I might have mentioned.
Oh yeah, I was asking him like, how'd you put together like a wrestling show then? Imagine you've got no starting point whatsoever. You've got a blank piece of paper in front of you. What do you start with? And he went, first of all, you just got to simplify it. Think about the things that a wrestling show has, and then just one by one accrue them.
Yeah.
Just get them, and then it'll just happen.
Yeah.
If you get a venue, and if you get the wrestlers, and if you get the lights, and if you get all the things, and a couple of refs and this that, it happens.
Yeah. Which like seems like a really basic and obvious thing, but when you've not done that, it's like it seems like it could, because when you watch it, it's one big package.
Seems like
you don't
it comes
think
out
about
of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
right.
just like, oh my God, how's that happen? And the answer is some people have like. He was telling me like when he first started his company, he learned how to put up and take down the ring himself,
right?
So that he could just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, like just simplify it.
I was thinking about this the other day because there's this guy who used to make like hip hop beats on YouTube called Pat Ryan, and he'd sort of like do it step by step, and like he wouldn't even break it down that much, but he'd like go, okay, today let's make some drums at this tempo. He'd make the drums, and then he'd like layer on some bass and layer on some keys, and like he came out like when we were just starting college, me and Jack, and we'd show each other these videos, and it's so like the beats he was making wasn't even anything like crazy or good or anything, but we looked at that and went, oh, okay, so let's just do that. And I remember physically writing down on a piece of paper drums, bass, keys, melody, whatever, and then tick it. Like I'd make something and I'd tick it off when I'd done it, because when like you're producing at first, you just know song. Like, how do I get from nothing to song? Like, I need to go up by the layers.
At first, it is proper note-takey, and like I was talking to the commentator, and he was saying like when I first started, I had copious notes about everything. Now I know everyone here so well that I can just reel the stories off the top of my head. But I started writing down some of the after like conversations here and there. I started noting down like stuff that had been sort of told, and I think some of it is like quite interesting just to sort of like know as a creative who thinks about like other creative things, because this is just essentially a TV show and a live event rolled into each other.
Yeah.
So the first one's quite wrestling specific. 1 or 2 good refs. Ring comes with crew. Put up the seats yourself. Give the bar the money on the door and the you know, like the tickets on the door and money from the bar. Give the wrestlers the merch money.
Right.
As like a supplement to the amount that you're going to be giving them on top. And then 2 or 3 good storylines is all you need. The show lasts like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And most of it's just people just want matches, which like, again, it's about knowing your audience, isn't it? If that's what people want, give them that. If they want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that you're locked into that, but... And then the last one was really interesting. Nobody is a draw. The company is the draw. Guarantee quality, and people will come to it and will keep on coming back. So that means... What he was saying was when he spoke to, I think it was like William Regal or someone, which you won't understand how important that is, but any wrestling fans will know, this is a real opinion. He said the only people who are a draw are John Cena and Roman Reigns.
Right.
And, like, that's kind of it at the moment.
Yeah.
They're the big 2, you know what I mean? Like, maybe Randy Orton, something like that, in terms of they will put arses in seats reliably in any size fucking venue, you know what I mean? Like, just having the face on the poster does the job. Other than that, it's all down to just consistency. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
What guarantee of quality can you offer to these people? Like, these talent are going to come in and go and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
What are you saying in your company? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that mentality can inject itself into other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was thinking about something similar to do with that with Marvel the other day, because I'm not like a big like comic book nerd, but I think Marvel's an interesting thing cinematically just because it's such like a big pop culture phenomenon of like, part of the reason I thought that Marvel like had, because obviously like there's the whole thing of like the box office isn't doing well and like people aren't thinking the movies are as good like post Endgame or whatever, and I thought, well, that's because like, you know, out of your main characters that were in the first bunch of Avengers films or whatever, like
Fuck all
fucking like Iron Man's dead, Cap's gone, fucking Scarlett Johansson's character's dead. Like,
as much as that's true, I think the quality guarantee is what's gone. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, this is what I'm going to say. So like, I think because before, people don't really realize as well, like before the MCU was a thing, like Iron Man and Captain America and that were like the B team of Marvel superheroes. Like everyone, because they'd sold the rights to Spider-Man and the Hulk, and then they were like, oh, we're going to make these Iron Man films, and everyone was like, who the fuck is Iron Man? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have the same like pop culture stand-in as a Spider-Man or a Batman or whatever.
At that point, was Robert Downey Jr. on his arse and trying to come back?
He was trying to make his comeback as well.
Because nobody is a draw. The company is a draw. Right. Guarantee the quality, and they will come.
So I thought, I used to think, like, you know, people don't like these films because Iron Man's not in anymore and Captain America's not in anymore or whatever. And maybe part of it is that, you know.
The thing is that like, they weren't around anymore by the time that Spider-Man film happened, and I still went and watched that.
Yeah.
Because there was a quality guarantee in they'd put so much behind the marketing of the fucking thing. They had so much faith in it. I was like, it's going to be sick. And it was.
And also, you know that like the other Spider-Man films were good.
Yeah.
Whereas like now we're like 6 years post Endgame, and the general consensus is that most of the Marvel films since then, apart from maybe the Spider-Man ones, have been kind of shite. Like, I actually really liked Thunderbolts. That was the most recent one. I went to see
Thunderbolts.
Well, but
you know what I mean? Oh, I'm completely lost out here. Now, I used to be a really big fan of this shit. Now I don't give a fuck about it.
Well, that's the thing. Part of it is like who, because now, even like. The only, this is what I'm saying, I don't know which it is, because is it the characters or is it the quality that's dropped, or is it both? Because like even just casual people like me don't know who the Thunderbolts are.
We've been introduced to not new, but like, you know, characters that you've not really heard of from the comics, unless you're like a fucking super geek.
Yeah.
We've been introduced to them before. Like, I didn't really know anything about Moon Knight. I saw him. I like his aesthetic. The fucking show seems really boring though.
Yeah.
Which is the perfect illustration of that point. I've not really even watched it. I've not given it much of a chance, because I started it and I was on the first episode and went, this is fucking slow, this.
Yeah.
But like, it's possible to introduce these characters and handle it in an interesting way, innit? It's just when that then is like serially not getting done. Like, if you keep on giving a chance to this company to be like, right, entertain me now with then fucking this. Like, it's like if most of it is boring, I'm only going to give a chance to the stuff that I at least know something about already.
Yeah. I think,
but if they were making the new stuff like really entertaining, really reliably, I'd trust them on that, and I'd go, oh, a new thing, I can't wait.
And also, because they've been so unreliable, it harms the stuff that is good, because everyone that saw Thunderbolts thought it was good and it got well reviewed and stuff, and I thought it was good outside of, it wasn't just like a quirky comic book film. There was like, a vision behind it. Oh, imagine that, like letting your filmmaker have a vision and a voice in that kind of movie. And I was like, oh, this is actually like interesting the way they've done this. And a lot of people thought so, and it reviewed pretty well. But because people were already like getting turned off to Marvel, they were kind of like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, if they hadn't already been to see it, even people saying, oh yeah, it's quite good, they thought, oh yeah, but is it? You know
it's
what I mean?
one of them, isn't it? If someone stuck a load of cannonballs to your sails, it doesn't matter how big the gust of fucking wind is, does it? You know what I mean?
Really great analogy. I don't know where you pulled that from.
I've been playing Assassin's Creed 3. There's a lot of boats in that game.
Right. What other points there? Oh, just going back to talking about like, it doesn't really matter the size of your setup or whatever. It just made me think of, I saw this clip a while ago of David Guetta talking about he met Daft Punk, and they were like, oh, do you want to like come by the studio and like show us what you've been working on? We can work on some stuff. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. Daft Punk are like my idols. This is gonna be sick.
Yeah,
and
I bet the technology is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and he got there and he was literally like, is this it? Like, I thought you guys had some like special shit that I didn't have, and that's why you're great and I'm not great. He was like, I need to step up my game because I have most of this stuff and you're 10 times better than I am.
It's how you use what you've got.
Yeah, it is. The other point that I had on my like, the other point that I had on my like talking points to-do list was just something that I've been thinking about is gig etiquette, right?
Oh. Ooh.
Because, thank you for doing an extra ooh while I took a sip of my drink.
I've been hanging around with commentators, so I'm professional at this now.
Because, like, we've gigged a lot over the years.
Yes.
We've been playing in bands since we were, like, 14.
I figured it out the other day for my CV, and I have been in music now for 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and you've been in it for even longer, because though a year younger, you started way the fuck earlier.
Yeah, although
You started playing instruments when you were like a kid, didn't you?
Yeah, I started playing when I was like 7, so I've been in music for 19 years, which is crazy.
That's fucked up.
I did, just like side note, I saw something before that was saying that the 2nd of June, which is today, is it? Or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Is halfway through the year.
Oh.
Which means, but it's 2025, which means that we're now closer to 2050 than we are to the year 2000. which is crazy. That's insane. We're over the hill.
It's okay because humanity isn't going to
let's
see
let's not do
2030 anyway because of the environment.
He's been spending too much time reading up on shit.
I've been radicalised pretty heavily, I'm not going to lie.
He's been radicalised by the
communists,
by the gay
but not
cruise brigade.
Yeah, but I've been
Looking at
had
his
by the gays.
outfit.
You know what? The commentator that I met was gay and like tremendously gay though,
And he gave you that shirt.
and he gave me this shirt. No. Yeah, what a fucking guy though. He was saying all this stuff about like, I know my position within the industry, and I'm just a journeyman. I'm a safe pair of hands with the commentary and this and that and the other. I was like, you were so wrong. Gay people are so good entertainers. Just everything that you did was like, you were in character all the time, aren't you? You know what I mean? I just wanted to give that guy.
You put props to that guy.
Because gay people got brought up, and I wanted to give an out of character compliment.
Yeah. Also, can I just say that wasn't like me throwing shade at gay people. That's just me throwing shade at Sean's outfit.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with dressing like you on a gay cruise, but it's just not that warm today, and you surprised me with your flowery outfit.
I was comfy, and this had been washed recently. It's
nice.
new.
It looks quite Greek. You look like you're sort of in like on a Greek island. It's nice.
Thanks. It's off like Temu or Shein or something.
Was it?
From time ago? Yeah, I think it was Temu because Heather was buying. I don't know what. I think she was buying clobber for herself, and if she spent the extra like couple of quid, it gave her like one of those stupid discounts. So she was like, "Do you want a little set?" I was like, "All right, yeah, sound." And it got dropped off recently, and it's very, very comfortable.
Yeah, it does look quite silky.
Feel it. Boyfriend material.
That's not bad. Nice lad at barbecue material.
Always a nice boy.
Abby's dad got a free like a little sword, like a little tiny like sword statue thing off Temu with like one of his orders. And now he has the full collection. That's how they get you. You see,
that is how
they give you a little
you.
Free thing, and then now he's like, "Oh, another one of them's only an extra £2.99." I might get one.
Wrestling show they were selling fucking necklaces with on the end little steel chairs wrapped in barbed wire.
That's
jewelry.
cool.
I was like, that's fucking sick.
That is dope.
Like that's another thing your man was on about as well. Smallman saying about how if you sort out your merchandise, like then you'd half sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your main source of money is still always going to be your ticket sales, but if you can sort out the merchandise, that's like your profit. Like ticket sales will get you to the show after. Your profits where you're going to get your fucking in it.
I love merch that not only operates as good merch for the thing that it is merch
but
of, but is also
good clobber
cool.
anyway.
Yeah,
exactly.
I didn't see the necklace that you've just described, but even I, as a non-wrestling fan, went, that sounds fucking dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was cool.
Like, I love that shit. Gig etiquette, right? So, we've obviously been gigging for many years, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like recently I have crossed over into an environment of gigging.
You're doing more corporate gigs. You're doing paid gigs now.
Yes, yeah. So obviously when we used to gig, it's
different when it's work because we were doing it for exposure. Which, by the way, hey kids, just say no.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, actually, cut your teeth with that shit. But as soon as you're an adult, fuck that off and start trying to make some money.
That's why we haven't played a gig in like 5 years.
Exactly. Don't let people take the piss. We're not worth the money, so we're just not going to bother.
Yeah. So, like, if you think about the kind of environments we were in, it was often like a specific gig venue. You know what I mean? Sometimes we'd play in bars or whatever. But like, if you think about like the Jacaranda or like EBGBs, it's like a ticketed event that we're playing at. You know
a time capsule into the early 2000s, really, isn't it? It's a look into the past.
Nobody's there this time around. You know what
it's
I mean?
like going to the trenches in fucking Normandy now. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I can imagine when there was a war here.
Yeah.
You know, the Wombats played here in 04. Oh really?
The trenches are still there, but there's nothing but ghosts hanging around. Whereas now, like the kind of environments I'm playing in a lot of time and the people I'm playing for on, not so much like if you get booked for like a corporate-y thing or like a private event, it's a bit different. But like if you're just playing a public gig in a bar
Do you
somewhere.
do much stuff for, like companies who've got events on where it's like, oh, we need a guy? Because I've heard they're like tough crowds for like.
Yeah. So I've not done anything like that as a solo person, but with that band that I did the cruise with, I've done one or two, like especially like I did like a couple of Christmas dues or whatever for like companies, or like we went down to London in March and did some for some fucking accounting firm or whatever.
Yeah.
And like what you actually find, or what I found from those very limited experiences of them, is they were kind of happy to have like an excuse to let loose a bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've been to a do like that where there's been a band on it. It was at the M&S thing, and it is very much like everyone's getting pissed up in front of the bosses. You know?
Yeah. And because also the one we went to London for, I think was like a networking thing that the company had put on. And the woman said to us, like, this is usually like quite a boring event, but you kind of like really livened it and everyone kind of let loose or whatever. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I can imagine if it's like if it's like a higher up corporate thing and you're in like a
you know what?
Conference centre, that'd be a
that
pain.
fella was saying about when he used to do stand-up, he'd get booked for gigs like that and he'd say, I'm not doing it, you don't understand how badly it's going to go down. Imagine being at one of them and then your man's there being like, the thing about airline food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because also like partly, it's like you said before, like sometimes we'd show up to somewhere to do a gig and like people weren't expecting us to be there, you know what I mean? You have to be able to like read that room and think, is a live act gonna fit this vibe?
Yeah, is it right for right now? Like, because we'd go into it thinking this is a gig, let's do the set list of our coolest songs, and then we'd be playing really loud music while people are trying to eat, and it's like almost rude, but like we didn't realize, because the thing is that we'd have practiced the set list that we were gonna do, like, and not really anything else, and we'd have hammered that, so we'd have arrived there and been like, well, the set list this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did a gig the other week that was like, it was weird to gauge, right? Because it was in a pub, but it wasn't like go and get pissed, get rowdy pub. It was like a Green King pub where like people were just sat around having scrat. So I didn't know whether to like do really chill versions of stuff and sort of almost just fade into the background, or like, am I trying to like bring some sort of vibe to this? Like, I just I struggled to gauge what the vibe was. Like, I'm playing the Woodlands this weekend, and Ed had said to me, oh, it's a bit weird in there because like they do food and stuff, and usually if they put you on at 8, like people are still kind of eating, so you kind of just fade into the background. And I'm like, okay, but knowing that, I can use that. I can go and I can play like a chill set. I'm happy to do that.
Fade into the background.
You know what I mean?
In some environments,
exactly.
Like they're looking for someone who can bring that vibe whilst fading into the background.
Yeah.
You don't need Metallica on when you're having your fucking dinner. You want to listen to some quaint shit and then be like, oh my god, that's a guitarist.
Yeah.
In everyone else's mind in that venue,
you're like just, your music that is being played out of a system, right?
Yeah, you're a guitarist.
Yeah.
Oh, and they had this guitarist. To that company, you're a safe pair of hands now that they can repeatedly come back to.
Yeah.
Like, for a one-night audience, don't bother playing the fucking long game. Just entertain them now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's what you're doing. If you're trying to do, like, art stuff, then maybe it's a separate thing entirely. You can, you know what I mean? You can fuck with people wherever you want. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, yeah, I don't know. Keeping things, like, environment appropriate is an overlooked part of art, I think.
It is. And it can be, like I say, it can be difficult to gauge what you're at, because also like some places want you to like get people up and go in and like bring a fucking party and everyone's have a good night, and it's really hard in a pub that is.
Are you in an Irish bar or a gastro pub?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but what's difficult is like sometimes they put you on in a pub at the point where it changes from chill place to eat in the evening to everyone's getting bevied. You know what I mean?
Yeah, places should let you know what the plan is for
what
the rest of
is.
the environment when you go there, because like, which I can imagine they would overlook if that's not their job to do all the time. They're just going, I need to book a guy. It's the artist's job to maybe, like, I don't know, research that. Like you've done, to be fair. There,
because also, like, I'm
because you can work that into the set. And now that dinner's over, it's time to get really rowdy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Drink too much.
I have got like more chill stuff, and also the way I tend to play pretty much the same set now because I've like honed it a bit. And like I do 2 45 minutes. The first 45 is got some sort of maybe older stuff, and the second 45 has got some sort of stuff that like me and you might listen to. Because my thinking is, I almost don't want to start off too chill. I know a lot of people who do what I do will start chill and ramp up throughout the night. But then my fear is also, depending on how many people are in, it's like if I start too chill and that's not what they want, then they're just going to fuck off before I get to the good stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's really hard to gauge. It's like it's almost like being a DJ in a lot of ways, because you kind of have to know what to play when. So like I'm constantly like, changing up the set on the fly. Yeah,
just know all of the songs, and then because the thing is, it's different to when you're in a band. If it's us, we have to be on the wave with each other and with whatever fucking technology we've set up around ourselves.
Yeah.
Whereas for you with an acoustic guitar, you can go in there. You know what songs that you know.
Yeah.
Just go right. Seems like you enjoyed that one, so here's more of that. You know.
Yeah,
what I
mean? I did
like the Cantina band from Star Wars. Play that same song. Okay, here we go.
I did that song used to get stuck in my head so much playing Lego Star Wars.
Oh, do you know what? I was trying to re-download that the other day, but I just didn't have enough space. I wasn't willing to make the sacrifices I would have had to make.
I want to get like a PS2 or PS3 and like just get a couple of those old games that I played when I was a kid. I've never been a big games person.
They've got a new one of that out.
Have they?
Yeah, they've done like a fully like updated like.
Oh yeah, no, I remember hearing about that.
But I might re-download the Xbox 360 version.
Yeah, it's just for the nostalgia, man.
I played that so much that, you know, the mission with
I think I know what you're gonna say.
With the spaceships
at the start of episode 3.
Yeah, at the start of episode 3. And I played it so much that the explosions were happening all the time. I had one of them tellies with the big back on it.
Yeah.
I think, you know, the LED like ones. Was it LED?
No, I guess it was before that. It was like a tube thing.
RGB fucking tube shit. It was one of them. And I played it that much that the explosion shape like burnt itself onto the screen, so that whenever we switched it onto the normal telly, you could see Lego Star Wars explosions on it, and the little thing at the top, you know, where it'd say like the character's face. That shit. That was on every show. And I wasn't allowed to play it for time until the thing like
faded
unburned itself. It took like fucking. It took a few weeks.
That was class. Yeah. That was class.
I got so stuck on it. It was an hard level.
It is a hard level because the controls are really hard on it for no reason.
Yeah, and the fact that you knew which one I was going to say. There was this level. Oh, I know the one.
It's that, and it's the fucking pod racing episode 1. I did that pod race so many times. Right, what was it? Gig etiquette. Right, the points I was going to make. Right. So I often find myself in these environments with drunk people.
Oh, yeah.
Which all etiquette kind of goes out the window.
I'm not allowed to drink at the moment.
Did you drink that much anyway, though?
No, but not being allowed sucks.
Makes you want to drink more.
Yeah, well, because sometimes I would have a drink and it was fine. Yeah. It's not like...
Did you ever have a drink?
Listen, the Barshalls were drinking. I'd have like a bottle of wine with my bird every so often.
In the house, right?
In the house.
Yeah.
Or... You know, if I'm out for a meal, I'll have a pint.
Yeah.
So you and Jamie always say, "Oh, look at him consuming." Listen, I'm having my pint because otherwise I'm not having a pint. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this is my pint for the next 6 months. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. Like, you know what I mean? But not being allowed shit because my graduation ceremony's coming up next month and I'm not allowed to have a fucking bevy.
That is heavy.
Yeah, I'm getting given a free fucking champagne that I'm not allowed to drink. I'm going for a meal where I'm going to be drinking a Wawa and eating the healthiest thing on the fucking menu. It's bollocks. It's bullshit.
Where are you going for your meal?
Not even sure. Not even sure. I need to book something in Liverpool because I don't want to be getting the train about and shit after it.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, when Abby graduated, well, she technically graduated during COVID, so her graduation was like 2022, even though she graduated in 2020.
Oh yeah. Fucking grim,
but the good thing about that is that I was there because she knew me by that point. And she went to Salford, so her graduation was in like the Lowry.
Mine's in the old cathedral in Liverpool.
Oh, that's quite cool.
It's
that's
so
pretty
sick.
cool. The cathedral that haunted you.
Yes, the cathedral that haunted me. Yeah, I'm hoping that this is going to close that chapter of my life.
You've
because
not been getting haunted since, though.
I have. Definitely, I've been getting haunted.
There's just as much, if not slightly less, terrible shit going on in your life now than it was before you were supposedly getting haunted. I would say that you're probably in a better position now than when you were getting haunted.
Yeah, I'm actually doing quite well at the moment.
Well, there you go. You know,
apart from
the health shit.
Yeah, but other than that.
Yeah. So Abby's was in Salford, so we stayed over the night before. Which was nice because those 2 days were the hottest day of that year, and it was literally 30.
Ooh la la. Keep it to yourself.
Temperature of the environment was about 32 degrees. And
the way it apparently is today.
Yeah. You'd fit right in.
Yeah, whatever.
Which was good because we were staying in a Premier Inn in Salford, which was air conditioned, so I didn't feel anything. But I remember I walked to the shop like at 9 a.m. the day after, like the day of the graduation, and I walked out the doors, and it was like, you know, when you get off a plane, and it just hit like the
like
density.
When you get into a car.
Yeah, mate, the density of the air just hit me. So we did the graduation ceremony in the at like the Lowry or whatever, and then her meal with her family that she was having was in the Botanist in Warrington, so we had to drive back. My car at the time did not have working air conditioning, so we had to drive back with all of the windows down the motorway. So we left Salford in like suit, and like she had her graduation dress on and her hair done all nice, and we got to the thing in Warrington just like fucking blowing apart.
Like, I went this business ball for uni for all the business students and all this, right? I say all, most didn't show up, so it was at the Hilton, right? And I've got a new suit.
Nice.
It's a Mark Darcy suit that I got from the market on sale.
Yeah.
And I was so hot. I've never wore a 3-piece suit before, but I shouldn't have wore it in that fucking glass box. Lad, it was so hot. They were asking me for my name at the the thing. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna start with when. So I got there with 2 of my uni course mates, and we got to the door and we saw that they were unrolling the red carpet, and we stopped for a second so that we could let them finish unrolling it before we walked in, just so that we'd get to do it without being like, oh yeah, I'll just step over this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it,
you might as well.
It's worth 5 seconds, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, in for a penny.
And then I got up the stairs, and they were like, "Oh, what's your name?" And it was like I could see sweat falling off me, and there was a line of people behind me because they did that, and then we walked in, and then we turned around, and it was like a bus had arrived or something. When we got to the door, there was fucking no one around. Yeah. We stepped inside of it, turned around, and there was fucking 50 people or something like that, and I was fucking sweating cobs. And I just felt humiliated. Because they were being like, "Oh, I can't see your name on here." I was like, "God, fucking help me!"
Is it under Sweat Goddard?
Yeah. Sweaty guy right now. Sweaty guy. Sweaty man.
She just writes "sweaty guy" tick. It's a whole printed list, and then just in pencil at the bottom, she's written "sweaty guy" and a little thing next to it.
I genuinely considered using the pocket square as a. Listen, I need your fucking help. You gotta let
me. Me and Abby were discussing the other day, people who, when they get married, and it's sometimes the husband takes the wife's name. And we were saying that if you and Heather get married, you should take her name because Sean Fox is actually quite a dope name.
Right.
That should be your stage name.
We've had this discussion, and we've decided the proper method is to double barrel it, because when you combine them, it becomes the sickest name fucking ever.
Fox Goddard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's your child's name.
Fire in it. That's like that's the beginning of the fucking dynasty, is what that is. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Generational wealth stemming back to
that's how you
your
take over
flat
the world.
in the middle of Widnes.
Like, honestly, that's how you take over the world. Class name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we were discussing like people who, like, when they get married, they just make a new name up because they don't want to take each other's names, so they just like combine the names or just make something completely random. You know what I mean? That's pretty dope.
Yeah, kind of. I also hate it though. I've got a weird thing about like certain tradition. I think mainly tradition is bollocks, but some stuff I'm just like, nah, it's so cool that it's been going for so long. You've kind of fucked that up there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would combine them because I don't think either one should be gone. Like, I don't think it should be a thing of like, well, I'm not having yours. Well, I'm not having yours. It's like, you're a bad couple then, innit? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have both.
Yeah. I
Plus,
guess
double barrel names sound classier, and as a working class piece of shit, I want to do that. You know what I mean?
I guess if like you've got
so you get in the upper echelon.
a long name, if you've both got long names, it's hard though. Like Fox is short and Goddard's a bit longer, so it works.
Yeah, it's baboon.
Whereas like if me and Abby got married and we were O'Connor McGrath, there's a bit too much going on there. You know what I mean?
It's a bit too Irish.
Exactly. Yeah. We were also saying that me, you, and Jabsy
what would you call the kid in that scenario? You know what I mean? Because you've got to be really careful with that. Yeah. Aaron O'Connor McGrath. He's getting stopped at the fucking airport.
Also, like,
you know what I mean?
Also, like, you don't want to make the kid's life like harder. Like my cousin, his parents gave him a double barrel last name, but then they also gave him 2 middle names. So, and they're all pretty long names. So, like, his full name is Thomas Mark Anthony Whittick McGrath. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You don't need 5 long names, 3 of which are first names.
Tarquin, Oliver, Nimrod energy, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And his mum insists that you call him Thomas and he's not Tom. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? What are we doing here? He's Tommy McGrath, right? Shut up.
Boys' names are brolid though, because we were discussing this. Not for any particular. It's not like there's anything like on the horizon that we're about to reveal. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that on a podcast, innit? You know what I mean? Like, sorry, but you'd be the last to know. Probably wouldn't even bring it up. But fucking, we were discussing it, and we were like, girl names are really easy because all you have to do is something that isn't the same as every other girl in the class, but isn't that outlandish that they're going to get bullied.
Right.
And you can do a lot of it based on names of plants because they all somehow fucking seem to work. You know what I mean? Whereas for lads, unless it's one of them Bible names that every fucker got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is difficult.
I don't know, there's fuck all out here. We were looking through them, we were like, these are all bollocks. It's like, oh, what about strong names like Arthur? It's like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? John. Sorry to all the Johns. I know there's a lot of yous.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't have a baby and go, this is baby John. Like,
in it. Like,
this is baby Jon. I think I told you this before, but there was a lad in my year who was John spelt without the H, and nobody called him John. Everyone called him Jon. Hey, Jon, did you do the homework?
That's funny. There was a lad in, you know, fucking, like, yard and all that. Yeah. There was a lad in there here called Bumhead. I love that. Hey, Bumhead.
I can't remember why I said it, but I referred to Yard as Mouse to Abby the other day, and she went, Mouse? Oh, Sean's got a friend called Mouse. And I was like, I don't think anyone calls him Mouse anymore, but he used to go as Mouse, and now he's just Yard.
Yeah, he was called Mouse because he had pet mice, and one of them was a rat, and it killed the mouse.
And also because he kind of looked like a mouse, I think. I don't know what he looks like now, but back in the day, someone said, oh, this is Mouse, and I went, yeah, checks out.
Didn't question it. No. And I always questioned it. It was like, why is it? And apparently it's because of that.
There was a lad in my year who looked like a hamster, and everyone called him Nibs for like Nibbles.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. I can't remember what his real name was. He was just Nibbles.
Yeah, I never knew his real name. Saying that I'm in the era, but I knew him
Matty
through
something. Yeah, he's just Nibs, isn't he? Because he did look like a hamster. This is
a terrible conversation for on a podcast.
Hey,
you know Nibs.
Yeah,
I know Nibs.
Yeah, it's just like I've been trying to do this bit about fucking gig etiquette for like 30 minutes.
Right.
We've gone well off the bit.
What is it? Don't get your balls out backstage.
So, I just will also say, just because I know it'll make you laugh, because I think it's made you laugh in the past. There was a lad in my year called Sean Jones, and people just used to just across the playground just go, Sean Jones. Like, that's and he'd just be like, oh, fuck's sake, again, leave me alone.
I love that. Oh, fucking.
Gigs anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
we do music. I just thought
Gig
something else
etiquette.
I could have mentioned, but we'll talk about it off the pod.
Come on.
Gig etiquette, yeah, right. I just wanted to put out like a PSA, because I feel like people who maybe aren't used to being around, like we're used to being around live music, even when like we weren't playing, we'd be watching other bands or whatever.
Right. You were saying about the bevy.
Right,
You were saying
yes.
people take the piss
Because
with the bevy. Yeah.
People take the piss with the bevy, right? And understandably, anything that I say now as to what this gig etiquette will be will go out the window as soon as people have had a bevy. But please do try and fucking bear it in mind, because there's things that I've noticed over the past like year of now being like a jobbing musician that people just don't seem to understand, right? Par exemplar, right? For example, asking for requests, right? They assume...
Yeah, go fuck yourself, we don't know every song.
They assume, yes, well, exactly, right. They assume that you can just pull stuff out your arse, and sometimes you can, right? If it's a song that I know, or like...
Yeah, unbelievably, I actually do know how to play that song. Yes, I will play it.
Well, even if it's like something that I've heard but never played before, if I've heard it enough to know how it goes, I can just pull up some chords on Google and play along to it while reading the thing, right? Like, that's fine. And I know, like, Ed is quite good at he knows every song. Like, he's heard every song, so he can just pull shit up. He very rarely says no to requests.
He's been on the music for time as well,
Exactly.
but like
He's been
on
doing
a
this cover shit
serious
for
level,
ages.
hasn't he?
Yeah. Whereas, like, me, not only am I newer to it, but also, as I've realised over the past sort of year or so, I don't know any songs, right? I know really specific niche stuff. I know a lot about really fringe
I know how
shit.
to play our songs, and that's it. If someone turned around to me and went, play this,
But
I'd
even
go,
like,
no.
but even like, I don't know, I've not heard the songs. Like, I'll go, someone will be playing something, and I'll go, oh, what's this? And they'll go, how do you not fucking know this? Like, this was like a huge song, everyone knows what this song is. And I'm like, I've never heard it before, or like, I've heard a bit of the chorus, but I don't know what it's called or who it's by, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like,
Been on the adverts.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that one.
like Abby knows every song ever. She'll go, oh yeah, I know all the words to this. And like, how though? And it's just these songs that are in the air that I've sort of missed by being like a little indie cunt and then a little weird electronic cunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're asking for songs, like requests, one, don't assume that we're just gonna be able to play it. I'm fine if you ask for something, but then don't be like, go on. It's not a case of like, I don't know the song, right?
Yeah. Can you play fucking Hey There Delilah? No, sorry, don't know it.
Yeah.
I'll go on, play it anyway.
Yeah, it's like if you go up to a DJ and go, oh, can you play this tune? And he goes, oh, I haven't got it on my fucking pen drive or whatever. You don't go, go on though. Like,
yeah, go on, you can find a way though.
Yeah,
surely.
Like, I don't know
might
it.
as well be going over and be like, hey lad, levitate.
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
I don't know how. Well, try.
Also, understand that like I have prearranged roughly what songs I tend to play in these environments, right? It's not always the same. Sometimes I can pull stuff up. Sometimes I change the order around to fit the mood.
Yeah,
as we
you
said.
might know that song, but
like also like even if I do, maybe I don't want to. Fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also, somebody didn't put his phone on. Is it the?
Yeah, the enemy.
Answer it and tell him we'll ring him back in a minute.
Yeah, we'll put him on. We'll put it on video. Yo, we're on the podcast like right now. You know.
Welcome to the podcast.
Where are you? Oh, look at him in a suit. Christ.
Put my fucking thing on to you now. Hang on, go on.
You're on camera. You've been caught.
Give me headphones. Give me a second there.
Well,
you rang us, lad. Oh my god.
We're gonna call you back. We're finishing the pod in like 5 minutes. We'll call you back. the corporate downfall of Jamie's crazy. You know what I think?
know,
like,
yeah.
He's got like a smart haircut and a little beard and a suit on.
Remember when we couldn't get him to fucking even like buy clothes that weren't worn by a dead person?
Yeah.
And now fucking Enterprise has got him wearing pomade.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he used to be cool. He used to be the best drummer on the scene. He used to be so
I
cool.
know. He was sought after.
He was such a little weirdo as well. Anyway, so yeah, like, also, if you come up to me and you go, "Oh, sorry to bother you. I was just wondering if you could play this song, if do you know it or whatever," then that's fair enough, right? But if you come up to me and go, I had a woman come up to me while I was in the middle of a song. She came to the front of the stage and just went, "Red Hot Chili Peppers," and I was like, "Fuck off! I'm in the middle of a song at this point, right?"
You should have gone. That'll only work on video, but you'll like it.
It's alright, no one listens to the audio anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Podcasting's a video medium now. So, you know, just be kind. We're not performing monkeys. You know,
No.
have a bit of, "Oh, like, do you mind doing this? Oh, no worries, never
Do you
mind.
know how
whatever."
to play this?
Yeah, yeah. Also, right, and this I feel like goes under the same mentality of, because people think that we just pop up out of nowhere, like someone rubs a lamp and I appear with my PA system and the ability to play every song ever, right? That's not the case, right? So also understand that, like, everything that I have with me at a gig, or if you go see a band in a bar and there's a band playing or whatever, like, it's all equipment that I have acquired over many years, and it all costs a lot of money, right? When I go out and gig, if it's with a band, there's usually several of us, so we all have instruments and like pedal boards and stuff, so that's a lot of gear. Or if I'm by myself and I have to take my PA, that's like $2,000 worth of shit that I'm carting with me, right? So don't put your fucking drink on the speaker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, come up to me drunk trying to talk to me with a bevy in your hand, about to spill it all over me pedals and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be aware that, like,
if you spill a drink on this stuff, there is a good chance that we're fucked.
yeah, like, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, like, if you're drunk and you fuck up my shit, like, I'm then going to have to try...
I will fuck up you.
Yeah, and, like, I'm going to have to try and get you to pay for these damages. But you're a drunk person in a bar. I don't know you. You know what I mean?
Who's probably spent the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Like, and also, like, just let us be in our space, right? Some places I've been, they'll like put some chairs in front of you to corner you off, or like if you play at the Crown, they give you a little
line.
Yes,
you
right.
know what I mean?
But some places they're dancing right here, and my mic stand. I went to watch Ed once actually at the Griffin, and some cunt knocked into his mic stand, and it like hit him in the face, and that's bad enough anyway. But when you're a party of one playing a gig, you then have to stop playing to fix that. It's not like it happened to me the other week. I was playing at Jacaranda and I was playing the bass and I was doing a bit of backing vocals, so I had a mic stand, and some fucking dickhead fell over and knocked the mic stand over. But the other three can carry on playing while I sort that out, right? If you knock something over or like get on the stage somehow and I have to deal with it, it stops the entire show, right?
Yeah.
So like, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
I think the general
you're
overarching theme is just like, don't be a cunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be a prick.
Hold your liquor in it.
Well, exactly, mate. Like,
Drink responsibly.
you know what I was thinking? After that.
Rock and roll, guys. Drink responsible.
After that,
Just say no.
the parade shit the other day in Liverpool.
Oh, fuck.
Which, like, I was saying to you the other day, but I'll say to these, like, I felt a bit weird about because I was in town at the time. You know what I mean? I was like working around the corner. But I thought on the way home after that, I was like, I don't like the idea that I have to go out and gig like in town or whatever, or in bars and pubs with drunk people that could just do anything at any moment. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like after you had that fight in Imperial,
Yeah.
which I say you had that fight when you were like attacked in Imperial and had to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I know you felt for a while like, oh, I'm a bit fucking sketchy about like going out because like anyone could just fuck you up at any moment.
Random
You know what I mean?
fuckers just start fights.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
out
like,
of nowhere.
So like, if you're going out, we'll end on this note. If you're going out, be responsible. Don't be a prick.
Stop taking the piss in it.
And most of all, respect the musicians that are performing for you. You know.
And if you see me out in town, pay me a £5.
Yeah, just cause. be like, oh, you're that guy out of the podcast and the band. You know what I mean?
Because we're making requests anyway for your behaviour when you're out. So if you're out and you see me, give me £5.
I can't believe
maybe that's something that we can close every one of these shows with, so that eventually one day when it takes off, you'll start doing it.
Giving us
Giving so much money. Give me a £5. It's £5. It's not that much money.
Yeah.
You know
We're starving artists. Give me a £5.
Show me that you know who I am by giving me a £5.
Yeah. Isn't it mad that the way the internet is that like we've had like probably about 4 million views on TikTok.
Oh, more than that. I've had to count before for the old CV.
No one's ever recognised us. You know what I mean?
That was crazy.
No one nowhere has ever said, "Oh, you're the guy from that video." You know what I mean? Not that I'd also hate it if someone was like, "Oh, you're the guy from that TikTok," but like, it's just mad, isn't it?
I've had it recognised by like a friend of a friend said to their friend, "Isn't that the guy who's with?" It was when I was with my ex girlfriend, and one of her friends' was like, "Isn't that this guy?"
Right, yeah.
And then that found its way back to me, and it was like, "I'm so famous."
Yeah.
But
you
like,
probably got recognised more for being on that bus advert.
I did. I was about to say, like, I've been recognised for something, and I was trying to remember what it was, but it was on this bus advert that we've mentioned on another podcast.
Not an advert for a bus. Just
I was on an advert for my old college
on a bus
that was on the back of a lot of buses and roundabouts. It was on as well.
Yeah.
And my next door neighbour even came up to me and was like, "I've just seen you by the library." And I was like, "That can't be true." And he was like, No, it is on the bus. I was like, "Oh, sick." That was on that roundabout by
on the way to Warrington.
Yeah, for
like a year afterwards.
A lot longer than that, like 2 years. Something like that. It was crazy.
I miss it, man, because it's on. Like Abby's dad lives right around the corner from there, so I would pass it whenever we went to visit, and I would like, "Hey, sure."
They took that photo like a week after I got back from Bulgaria as well, so I looked fucking incredible on that photo.
And also it was the era of like that's still kind of how I think of you, with like a fucking graphic tee and a denim jacket on, you know what I mean? Because like,
it was my definitive era.
Because that was like your vibe for ages, and also I saw that picture a whole lot. Like that is like the light blue denim jacket is still how I think about you.
Yeah, I saw that once when I was driving. Not me driving. I was in the car with Liam. Not you, Liam. The other one. And like we lost our heads. We were like, "Oh my!" Because the first time I saw it was when I was driving home from work and I was behind it. It was like, "That's sick." Can't believe though that they're advertising in that little magazine that I'm gonna go into fucking Foley and like audio design and all this stuff when at the time I was just working full time as a cleaner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
College is a lie. Don't go. Give me a £5.
Yeah. Well, if anything, you can go back. You can go back and give a speech about how you didn't end up using your college diploma. You know, like things change.
But it took me to a different place entirely. Because to be fair, them grades got me into uni.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I killed it out here.
And it helps that you can like use Cubase now. You know,
yeah. It's probably the main thing.
Yeah, if you'd have gone to uni the first time round,
I'd have fucked it right up.
You'd have fucked it right up, and also like the band probably wouldn't still be going. Maybe like
no, I don't know where it'd be. Somewhere in Salford, like eating sewage or something, just trying to fucking scrape by day, asking people for a £5 still.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, stay hungry.
Stay hungry. Give me £5. See you in a bit. Give me a £5. Thanks.